Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and we are back with another episode of Cards in Hand, the podcast all about the One Piece card game, and a little sprinkle of the manga and anime, which I'm not even gonna lie to you, we haven't even sprinkled on that in a minute. I don't even know if we're going to in this episode because there's a lot to talk about. Good and bad things, but I want to give a synopsis for anybody that's listening. One, thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate you, whether you're on the Spotify or the YouTube side. We have a couple of topics we want to go over today. We want to talk about the Vegas Nats experience, the championship finals that happened in Las Vegas here in North America, and we also want to discuss the Red Bull event that is specific to North America. 75 of these being hosted here, and just some of the things that have been going on, what we've been seeing, from the event, and some of the kind of funny. I don't know. I find it kind of funny, some of the things, but we'll talk about that. We also want to talk about how we just passed the release date of EB03 and how the prices and the release of that have shaken up not only people's wallets, but the entire meta. So we also have the Banlist coming up in mid-March, which is probably about 3 weeks away from the announcement right around Worlds. So that's going to be really cool, and to see how that kind of correlates with the Eastern meta. But dude, we're back. You and I both went to Vegas. Did we both get to go to the event though? No.
No.
Yeah.
You
So
were in the you were there, I was there losing my life savings gambling.
yeah.
We went with two different intentions.
This is true. This is true. So I ended up getting into the event from the wait list eventually, which was awesome. I didn't get into the LCQ, but I got into the general entry, and that was one thing that we wanted to talk about as far as like this event as a whole. It was a really interesting time for me personally, as somebody that was in there as just general entry, no LCQ, no competitor badge, nothing like that, right? So a couple of
Mhm.
things were off limits for me, but a couple of things were a little more easily accessible for me. And I gotta say, hats off to Plays TCG. You guys did better. You did better, okay? Because the previous event, the previous championship in Dallas, absolute nightmare. A lot of people didn't even attend day two because of how bad it was. It was the whole thing was just without lack of a better word, it was a shit show. And so Las Vegas Nationals, I will say, was a lot better. They did a way better job this time. So hats off to Play TCG, and just a big shout out and thank you to any of the judges and staff that do listen to this podcast. I think everybody did such a great job out there. You guys were amazing. I didn't hear any complaints about judging or staff throughout the entire weekend. Now, of course, there's always going to be that one person or so, but
Yeah.
dude, it was a good event. We still have some pros and cons that we want to go over. There were still some things that I think could be worked on, but not bad at all. But before we get into that, you at least got to like come out and say what's up to some people at the event
Yeah.
space, and you got to see some of the friends. And I think realistically, like that's probably one of the best things about Bandai Card Fest is just getting to see all the people you don't get to see on a regular basis. So that was pretty cool. But did you enjoy your time out there, even though as you say, blowing your life savings?
Yeah, so I went to Vegas. I didn't sign up to like compete or anything, and then I was late to do like general entry or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, it's Vegas. I gamble. I play poker. Like I'm gonna go with y'all because y'all never like travel anyway. Y'all being like the people from Austin. Um, I'll go play poker and we'll eat. We'll meet up when we go eat, and it's fine. And so that's what I did. Really, the only time I actually was like near the venue was Sunday and technically Friday. So Friday, I was in the outside line waiting with my friends that were checking in,
Yeah.
and from the competitor side. And once they got to like the main, like they wouldn't let anyone, even if you were GA or anything, if you were not like with your ticker stuff and like a competitor, you could not even get inside that part of the convention center. So I was with them outside. I was in line, like talked to all my friends, OPTCG grinders, Sam Sam, staying with my friends, just talking to them for like we probably got there at like 10 because they wanted to be some of the first in the retail line that was competitor specific, which opened at 12
Yeah.
on top of check-in at 12. And so I was there from like 9:40, 10 a.m. Till 12. They eventually get to the line. I'm like, hey, I'm not a competitor. I'm buying out. And I wait outside for them. But then they had to go to the retail line. And so they're in there forever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like outside waiting with a couple, like one other friend that also was in the same spot as me, no LCQ, no anything. And then eventually our LCQ friends get out and we go to Resorts World while people are still waiting in the retail line for the competitive stuff.
Yeah.
And so my one friend waited 9 hours, did not get the Nami mat, and another friend waited like 6 or 7, and did at least he did get his Nami mat, and he plays Nami like he's literally getting his SP boas, and Robins like as we speak,
Right.
to be able to play that deck as a max rarity. But in that regard, like that line was pretty well done from what I can tell, at least like to get into the building. Seems like all the staff was nice. People were just like, yeah, retail line sucked, especially because from what I understand and what my friends are telling me, this retail for competitor was like in a side room temporarily because they're not going to let people go into the main venue or Friday. That would have been Saturday. And so that may have made things even worse because apparently there's like multiple rooms that you have to snake around.
I heard it was, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember at one point it's been like 4 hours, 5 hours, and they're like, oh, we're finally in the room. We can see the checkout, like retail. I'm like, what do you mean? It's
We
been
made
like
it.
5 hours. And so in that regard, I mean, that's what I did Friday. Basically, I was just waiting with them for no reason.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, they go play their events. I just went and gambled more. And then Saturday night, it went even worse. Don't want to talk about it. All the Austin people can tell you about how bad it went. I mean, at one point, I'm down like 750. I go play roulette. I'm back not even 3 minutes later. And they're like, oh, how'd it go? And I was like, oh, I'm down 950 now. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, just don't worry about it. It happens. It's okay.
Oh wait, dude. You know what's funny is to interrupt you really quick. I have a story of being up and then down bad. Okay, that is really funny, and I'm sure you'll get a good laugh out of this. So it's Friday LCQ, right? I'm out there. I'm trying to get in. I'm like, please, let me have some sort of clout or something. And like none of the people out there knew. They were like, no, dude, like, no, we don't know. No, just go away. Like, we don't know you. And I'm like, no. So I didn't get into the LCQ. And I was like, well, what do I do? I guess I'm just going to go like play some blackjack or something, right? Mind you, it's 9 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
It is
like
9
super
a.m.
early.
So I'm like, all right, you know what? I didn't bring a lot of money with me to gamble. I brought $200. That's it. I
wish I only brought 200.
Yeah, I brought.
I should have limited myself more.
I didn't have. I couldn't even really make the trip happen in the first place. But my community was like, dude, we're gonna make this happen. So, shout out to the homies from the live stream. Y'all making my dreams come true. It was very fun, and I wouldn't have been able to make this trip without you guys. But so I go. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go play like maybe $100 worth of blackjack. I'll find like a $10 table. I'll just play a couple hands, see if I can make like 40, $50 or something like that, right? But like also burn some time. That's what I want to do. Is kill a little bit of time if possible. Bro, I go out there and I'm at this. I had to Uber out to the place because like it was this one spot that my wife and I really enjoyed that had cheap tables, nice spot, and it was called The Link. And so we go out to The Link, and it's like 9 a.m. and I'm again just me by myself. I'm just playing blackjack. I end up doing pretty well. I'm kind of crushing it. I'm not going to lie. I put $100 down. It may be like an hour and a half, 2 hours pass. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm at like $300. I'm like, holy smokes.
Not bad.
I was like, dude, I'm kind of him right now. Like, I'm the best. And so I'm just sitting there, minding my own business. I'm gambling. And I'm like, hey, I'm just going to pick my stuff up. I'm going to go use the restroom real fast. The dealer was like, yeah, you could. That's fine. You could leave it here. We can just put it to the side. It's up to you. I was like, okay, cool. So I go use the restroom. As I'm walking to the bathroom, guess who I just see standing there at a different table? Like, he's just watching. He's not even playing yet. Is Jackson Huang, the second place first national championship player in North America, then the winner of the second national championship, Jackson Huang, like the man, the myth, the legend, the third place world championship, first ever. Like this guy is insane. And so I see Jackson and I'm like, dude, what's up, man? Good to see you. He was like, oh wow, what are you doing here? I was like, just gambling. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. So I'm like, well, I'm hitting the bathroom real quick. I'm at that blackjack table over there. So I walk away, go use the bathroom, come back. Jackson's like, let me join you. He joins, and Hartman joins. And I was like, okay. And so then they come over. We play some blackjack. I get up to $500, bro. I'm at $500 from my 100. And I'm like, I'm the best. Like, I'm the best. They purple chip me out. I'm like, okay, this is great. And Jackson's like, hey, they just opened up a craps table. Do you want to come over with us? And I was like, I don't know how to play craps. And he goes, no, don't worry, bro. I got you. I was like, okay. He's like, it's real easy. I'll just teach you. I was like, okay, whatever, sure. So I come over, and he's like, all right, you put money here. We roll a number. Once the number comes up, you put money here, here, yep. And then a little bit behind. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And so I do that. And then, like, sure as shit, the next person to roll hits a 7. And I'm like, so what happened? And then he's like, that's not good. And they take all of our money. And I was like, wait,
you told me this was easy.
I was like, what just happened? So we go again, right? And then next thing you know, like, this one went a little bit longer. It was like 5 rolls or so. They hit a 7. And I'm like, bro, I'm losing money. I'm like, what is happening? Dude, like 20 or 30 minutes go by, and I lose like $350. And I'm like, dude, what just happened? And he's like, oh, man, that was just unlucky. I'm like, dude, fuck that game. I don't ever want to play that game again. And so, yeah, I Jackson, if you're listening to this, you owe me $350, okay?
Yeah, I lost a lot of money playing craps this weekend.
Oh.
What's funny is I started Friday, like, gambling when we all went to Resorts World first, and then we, like, got food, finally met up with the retail guys, and then we played more. And after we did the buffet on Friday, the Caesars buffet on Friday.
Yeah.
And then we played a little after. And so my very first, like, sit down at craps, I was like, oh, I'll start with 50. We're just trying to kill a little bit of time, whatever. And I make that 50 into like 200. I'm like,
nice.
Dude, this weekend's about to be amazing. And then by the end of that night, I was already at 450. It was bad. It was bad. But I was like, okay, 450 day one, that's fine. I brought like 1,200 with me. Saturday's gonna go so much better. And I should have known, because someone in the community, because like we're all still like talking on Discord, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm like down 450, but it's fine, whatever. And then some dude's like, yeah, Drago, I had a fucking dream and a hockey premonition. You're not winning shit on Saturday.
Oh my god,
you're gonna go broke. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that to me? And then but I'm like, whatever, that's funny, haha, fuck Drago, whatever. And so eventually that night we go and gamble more, and in a span of like 2 hours, I'm down another 600.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Santiago, why did you curse me? He's like, I told you that you were going to lose. Why did you not listen and stop betting? I was like, because I'm not going to listen to a random Discord message that's telling me, oh, you're going to lose all your money on Saturday. I'm like, oh, yeah, I think you're just, I don't think that's an omen. That's just, haha, funny. You're going to lose your money.
Yeah.
And then it happened. But, that's why you go to Vegas, I guess, to lose money.
It's true.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun time. Everyone was having a great time.
Yeah.
We had a group of like 15 people at one point. We went to Fremont Street, and we were at Binion's, and then eventually went to the D.
Old Vegas is cool as hell. Like that.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
That
Fremont
place
Street is
so cool.
very
I want to
fun.
go back.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, this is way better than the Strip.
Yeah,
and so I'll try to go back to Fremont Street next time.
My wife and I went for her birthday right around Halloween time. Dude, that whole, like, you know how they have the ceiling?
The electronic light thing? Yeah.
Dude, it was like graveyard skeletons and stuff, and they had like crazy like Halloween rock going on, and this band was playing as like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, Freddy Krueger, and Why am I forgetting his name? With the mask,
Jason?
Jason. Thank you. And it was like I was like, dude, this is sick. Like the
Yeah.
drummers, like it was just
Dude,
wild.
Fremont Street was
Yeah,
really cool. I
yeah.
like so my friend who I stayed with, his dad works like he's in the police force there in Vegas. I forget he's kind of high up there, but his main area that he watches over is Fremont Street, and
Oh,
so
that's
like
cool.
all weekend he's like hyping up Fremont Street. Like that's where my dad goes. Like I like it a lot, and then my dad like he's always joking that his dad every time he like Ubers there, he like asks the Uber like, "Do you feel safe in Fremont Street?" Because like that's like what he oversees, right? So he's like
Yeah,
hoping like it's getting better or whatever.
yeah,
And I felt pretty safe at Fremont Street.
yeah.
Just to clarify,
Hmm.
Fremont Street was awesome, and so I'm losing tons, but everyone around me in the group is just laughing at my pain. I hate these people, and they know who they are. I'm like already down like 958, and they're like, "Oh, but Drago, the night is young. You got to keep going. Like, what's another 100? What's another 200?" And I'm like, "I hate y'all," but I would listen and be like, "All right, you're right,
Yep.
100 on blackjack," and then I'd lose it all. And so I ended up like down 1070 for the weekend.
Oh no.
Um, I sold like $900 worth of cards. A lot of it was like random bullshit. To be fair, like I really don't. I think two cards individually were like maybe 150 or more, and then everything else was like they had to be a bunch of like $20 cards or less.
Oh
A
wow.
lot of like it just adds up, right?
Yeah, yeah. You
My
got
friend
enough of them.
QB,
You get rid of them.
he buys a lot. He ended up getting top 8. Shout out to QB. But so like that recouped a lot of the losses, and then um, like it was an expensive weekend, but it was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
I couldn't do retail or anything, but like a friend of mine was able to get the Nami mat because he was like closer up for the competitors. So like I had my Nami leader, even though it's blurry.
Oh,
Uh,
nice, nice.
had my Nami leader. My friend got a Kagurabachi mat for me, which looks really good.
Oh, I'm
And so I got
jealous,
that.
bro. I
Yeah.
want that Kagurabachi mat,
I'm so happy he was able to get it. I'm sad for
bro.
him because he won in the Nami mat. Like obviously, like he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
huge
yeah.
collector. Like he has like damn near everything.
Yeah,
Like from all the SPs, mangas, whatever.
yeah,
And so I'm sure he'll get it on the aftermarket eventually.
yeah.
But so I was sad that he didn't get it. But because of that, it's like, well, I guess I get one of the solo leveling or like whatever. And he got the Kagurabachi mat.
Yeah.
And I have some credit with him because I pulled an SP Boa that he wanted.
Hey.
And so I was like, hey, yeah, go ahead and knock out. We'll value it at 70. That's a really good price for me, by the way, because now I'm seeing that they're reselling for 200. So sorry.
Oh,
Clement,
yeah,
in
yeah,
advance. But so I got it for 70. I still have a lot of Clement bucks. I love that I have Clement bucks. But so I got the mat. I gave the AP to a friend of mine that plays. A couple of them, like because a lot of us, they weren't able to get the Nami mat. They got like Solo Loving and Kagurabachi mat, and we gave it to our UA players that stayed in Austin that are like really close to us.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, that was really fun. And like it was fun. I wasn't like in the venue. Like I was literally just outside. Like I can't go in. I don't have a badge.
Yeah.
But like I got to see a couple people that I know. Sell a couple cards, but mainly I was just doing Vegas things, and so I'm living through the Nats experience through all of them.
Yeah.
Both like the spectator side, we had a lot of competitors. A friend of mine got 43rd, and that was his second Nat, so he was like really happy that he went X2 and got top 64.
That's awesome.
And then, Elijah Quimby, OPTCG grinder, got top 8. My boy
Yep.
QB from San Antonio got top 8, and so like I got a lot of like. Yeah, the event was good from them because they were competitors and that was good. And then all my other friends that were like GA and just doing side events, for the most part, really their only complaint was like, I couldn't get a Nami mat. But generally speaking, everything else from what they were telling me was fine. They're like, yeah, retail slots was a lot better because it was slots and they were being really strict about like, you better show us your slot, whatever.
Yep.
And if you don't, they would take your badge and you'd be escorted out. So like in that regard, it seems that they were doing a lot better. And so a lot of my friends didn't have many complaints, but again, I wasn't in the venue, so I actually don't know everything. You were in there a little bit more doing side events, so you could probably speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's just like you said. So, I mean, to kind of, we were just talking about all this stuff in Vegas. I want to say that was actually one of the bigger pros of this event, particularly, is that it's such a fun place to go. Like, it's, even if you don't, let's say you just like crap out on LCQ, or you don't do well in the main event or something like that. There's just so much stuff to do in Vegas. It's a very cool place to be. Not like, no shade to like Orlando or Dallas, or because there's obviously stuff to do there as well.
Yeah,
But
but it's not the same.
Vegas is like, you can walk almost anywhere and like find stuff to do, and if not, it's like a very short Uber ride or something. So like that's what's really convenient about it, in my opinion. And it's just like, I got to do, I didn't do it this time, but I did it with my wife the last time. It was like doing a nighttime helicopter ride over the strip.
Oh hell yeah,
Dude, $80.
yeah, that's not
$80
that
bucks.
much.
And it was like 15 minutes of like flying over the strip, listening to AC/DC Thunderstruck while I'm in a helicopter. It was badass. It was awesome. And I was like, this is the coolest place, dude. Like, Vegas is such a fun spot to be. So big shout out to them for the great venue choice. I just thought it was a good venue.
I really hope they go back.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize how big that convention center was.
It was huge.
Because we're only.
We were a sliver of
A
it.
small sliver of it.
That was a sliver.
When we pulled
yeah.
up, because I had only been to Vegas once before. It's for an Evo like 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, and that's like in the Mandalay Bay. At least before they went to the convention center. I think now they're also at the convention center. And so I had never been that far past the Strip. Didn't go to Fremont that trip. So I just like knew basically that little row of casinos that is all connected, like the Excalibur, all that.
Yeah.
And so I remember when we were driving Friday to go and wait in line with them, dude, I'm like, wait, this is huge.
It's
like,
massive.
I thought the Houston Convention Center was big. I thought the Dallas Convention Center was big. I thought some of the San Diego and like LA ones I've seen were big. No, that convention center is massive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know like how much. I don't even want to know how much that costs. And so, because I remember a friend was telling me a story that someone, I think it was like Friday while we were lining up, someone was like talking to Dee, who I think she's like the main like head lady of Play TCG or something, and they like asked like jokingly like, oh, like we're gonna come back next year for Nats, right? And she like jokingly like shook her head and said like no. And so
yeah, it probably costs a lot.
That has some truth, because dude, I can't even imagine how much it was.
I mean, they get it. Bandai pays for everything, so like
Bandai's
who
gonna pay for
cares?
it, and so like I hope they go back. I would understand if not, but like every convention center is expensive. As long as they do all these improvements that everyone's saying that they've done and continue to improve, I don't think it'll matter where it's at.
Yeah.
But Vegas is Vegas. I hope it's back at Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
Great restaurants. Like obviously
Yes.
the nightlife is there. There's stuff to do that isn't even nightlife. Like you can go hiking, you can go do whatever. The helicopter ride you mentioned. And if they did it like in September, football season would be there. NBA would be like September, October, I guess. NBA, I guess there might be an expansion team coming soon, like for next season.
Yeah.
So like it'd be really cool. We'll see what they do. But I mean, from what you said and from what everyone said, at least as an event experience, it seems like it was significantly better and like a step in the right direction. And like there's still things to work on. I get like the main thing that probably people griped about is like the Nami map.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning pre-show that you were like, I think this should be limited. Like not everyone should be able to get it. And I think I get what you're saying, because it's not like a necessary thing. It's just an alt art.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would say to that is you're probably right. Like, yeah, not every person there can get the map. I do think if you are like going in line, you probably should be restricted to buying product from one game.
I understand that there was a lot of people that were frustrated that they were there for Union Arena. Yeah,
because it was very weird that like they did it. I think maybe it must have only been this one, but people were saying that Gundam was like restricted, like you could only get Gundam if you were playing Gundam.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I think maybe that was the case, because I remember for last Nats, the Gundam map was the map that was like super scalped and whatever.
Yeah, sought after.
And so maybe they're trying to fix that, but it's like, well, y'all know One Piece is by far your biggest game.
Yeah.
You're seeing at the European and the Mexico Nats that like the Nami mat is the thing.
Off the shelf.
So why would you not have that like same, like, well, it's going to be the same amount of stock, but when only One Piece players can get it, a lot more One Piece players are going to be able to get it. And it's not like the other mats have no value either.
Right.
The Gundam mat is still reselling for like 250, 300. The solo leveling and Kagurabachi mat are reselling for 150, 200. There's value. Obviously, it's not as much as the Nami, who's going for damn near 1300 last I checked. But like, it's not like they don't have inherent value when you're paying $40 and they're reselling for quadruple, 5 times as much, and it's for your respective game. So that'd be like the only thing. Like if that's the case, like why was that not an implemented like limit? Like okay, you can only buy it if you're part of this game or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like from what everyone told me, it seemed good. And then like the only other bad thing, I think you and I both agreed, especially me, because I'm like outside at the casino. I'm like, I want to keep up what's going on. There's no stream for One Piece, like
Yeah.
at all, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, we were talking about this before, but just to like harp on some of the pros first of all is just like the better organization. Everything was looking so good. As far as like where they had stuff, color organization, signs that said like specifically for what games. It just seemed like they did a better job organization wise. Now I can't exactly speak from the competitor side where people were actually playing in the finals, so I heard good things, but I also don't know. So I can't. I can only give my experiences from the side events, from particular lines that I was in, stuff like that. I think that they did a better job with the scavenger hunt. So like in the previous events, they used to do these scavenger hunts where you had to go and do other things. This was like way better. It was just a stamp. They literally gave you a book. You would just go up, they'd be boop, bye, and you'd be like, okay. And then, so there were no lines for that. It was great. The promo wasn't like crazy anyways, so I don't think like a lot of people were going like super wild over it. But it was still cool. I got myself a little chopper. I think there was a better one for Union Arena that I should have got, but I didn't get it. But it's all right. And I also want to say that the time slots for retail was really good. I know there was still a lot of complaints again about the Nami play, like, oh, but we didn't have enough of this and that. And it's like, well, my thing is that they definitely should have done a better job of not running out of like OP13, running out of PRBO2, stuff like that, right? But instead, like the Nami should be limited. It should be because it's not necessary to play the game, right? Whereas the product from OP13 and the cards in PRBO2, that is very necessary. Like you need those cards to play the game. I was lucky enough that I got my hands on an OP13 box, and I got lucky. I pulled the SP Ace, and I was like, yes.
Very good.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take that all day, baby. But there was still cards in there that I didn't even have my hands on yet. I still need a lot of like, I think PRBO2 SRs. I don't even have. There's like a lot of PRBO2 SRs that I don't even have. I got to get my hands on eventually, because I like to have at least a play set of all the SRs. Typically, commons, uncommons, I can get my hands on them if I don't have them. Rares, I typically like to have a play set, but if I don't have, I can get my hands on them. SRs, that's where it gets tricky. It gets a little tricky if you don't have those. I mean, like that was really good. The venue space, obviously, location was fantastic. I want to say the line management was really well done comparatively to previous events. They did have people that were trying to direct people to, make the lines a little bit better, a little more manageable. There was also a lot of tape around, guiding people in like snake forms and stuff like that. So I thought that was good, just rather than everybody just hoping they could figure out a way to line this up. So I think it was good. I think they did a really good job. Obviously there still is some room for improvement. Some of the stuff that we had talked about and I had also just noticed in, of my own volition is that one thing, and this one I kind of want to harp on for a second, because I do think that this is a weird one. This is a weird one where it kind of goes both ways. It goes as a pro, but it also kind of goes as a con. And I think that there's a middle ground where they could meet and it would actually be fantastic. So this one in particular is no in-person waitlist, right? So the reason why I say this is kind of a pro and kind of a con at the same time is because the pro is that a Dallas waitlist for LCQ was an absolute shit show. It was a madhouse. Nobody knew what was going on. It was crazy, and it delayed everything by a long time, right? And then there were players that were already registered that were like going, they were like, oh, well, they're still doing the wait list and everything. Since I haven't checked in, I should be fine. But they were given round 1 losses because they didn't check in, even though they still had like another hour and a half of checking people in off the wait list. So it was kind of crazy. Dallas was very unorganized for that, but they did a really good job for this. I just think the middle ground, particularly, should have been something along the lines of, okay, there will be no, you can show up without having applied for anything and be able to get in, right? But if you are on the wait list, like you applied for the wait, maybe they stop accepting applications for the wait list like 2 weeks out or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
That gives people ample enough time to say, okay, I didn't get in off the wait list, but they're not accepting applications anymore. I'm still on the wait list. I can now plan a trip to go out there because if I get to the event site early enough, I can maybe get in off of being on that limited, wait list spot. Because there's always people that they make it into the event, but then last minute stuff happens, plans change. You can't make it out there, right? So there was guaranteed spots for people to play in this event that they could have allowed. I could have been allowed. What's one more person? It's not like every single person showed up. They didn't, for sure. But that's something, I think that they could do a little bit better with the middle ground. Is like, hey, all right, we've stopped accepting applications. We're not just going to turn you away. We just say you can show up, but we can't guarantee you a spot. But you have to have that you are on the wait list, from weeks prior in order to even be in that line. And I think that would be, in my opinion, that's just a good way to, potentially give people a chance. Because like I traveled out there very concerned. I was like, uh-oh, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the general entry. And I was able to, I got that worked out. But like, man, like imagine like you make travel plans so much in advance and whatnot. And then something like that is, because like that's the lack of consistency between events. They've always had this in-person wait list. So I do know a lot of people that showed up that were very disappointed. They were like, yo, what do you mean there's no in-person wait list? Like they've always done that. And I'm like, if you go read the website, you go read the Tixer and whatnot, it says there's no wait list. So
they announced it.
Yeah, which I mean, fair for them, they did announce it, but it's just, you got to understand, this is something you've done every single event before.
Yep.
And to just not do it now, but like the only way to know that is to have like this one small part of like the website has to be read, like a lot of people are just, you have to understand, a lot of people are just buying their tickets and they're like, okay, cool, I'm getting out there. It's not like, let me read all the fine print and shit. Not that it was fine print. They did put in bold, but it's still like a small section of a large page. You have like a lot of information on that page. So I don't know. That was one thing, again, kind of both pro and con, but could probably be meeting in the middle ground that they could improve on. But I still think they did a great job regardless. I also want to say there were three other things that I think could have been better. One of them, I think it was kind of really out of their control, if I'm being completely honest. Like the Dallas food situation was fire, dude. The food at Dallas Nats was out of this world. It was so good. They had incredible food out there. The food in Vegas was not good at all. They had like 3 or 4 different places that you could go, and they were like mid at best. But there was one spot that was okay, and it was that hot dog spot that was right beside the stage area and near where like those giant cards were that you could play with. If anybody knows that hot dog spot, shout out to that hot dog spot. They were amazing. They were really good. The wasted resources, though, this was something I kind of talked about, was if you go into the side events area, you have Union Arena, One Piece, Digimon, Dragon Ball, Gundam, right? There was a massive line for One Piece. Massive line for One Piece for people to play in side events because they were firing 8-man side events continuously. There was, if you had an issue with your sign up for like your 32 or 64-man pod that you signed up previously, you had to go talk to the people in that line. There was nobody nobody in line for Union Arena, Digimon, Dragon Ball, Gundam. Nobody. Like, I didn't see a single person ever in any of those lines ever. Anytime that I looked over there, I was like, wow, there's really just nobody. And there were each table had three employees sitting there, 3 staff just sitting there, like they're just looking at their phone, like, all right, dude, like I don't know what's going on here, but and rightfully so. You got nothing to do, whatever.
Yeah.
You got to allocate your resources better. These were wasted resources. You got staff that are ready to help people and stuff. You should have one person at each of those tables for Union Arena, Dragon Ball, Gundam, whatever, right? One person, that's it, one. And then you get like 2 tables that has the signups for those 4 games. Boom. Done. Easy. All 8 people that want to play will be able to get signed up very quickly. Great, right? But now for the other 1,000 people that want to play One Piece, we should have like 3 or 4 tables. And I'm not saying this as like, hey, One Piece is the best. One Piece, it's just, it's obvious. Like, all the people are there. There's not a line for Union Arena. There's not a line for Digimon. There's not a line for, there is a line for One Piece. So allocate your resources a little bit. Make it so that there's 3 or 4 tables for the game that is there. Like, people are here for the most, right? Yeah, that was one thing that I was like, ugh, I think that was a bit of a waste. But unfortunately, it is what it is. But another thing that they actually did good, one thing I forgot to mention, the last thing I wanted to mention about another great thing that they did was the auto matching battle. Bro, if any of you attended the event and you signed up for that auto matching battle, you know what I'm talking about. That thing was awesome, bro. It was awesome. You could play 5 games, or if you won 3, you could just go get your prizing, but you play 5 games total, you still go get your prizing. It was fantastic. It was so fun. You just get matched up whenever you want to play a game with somebody. You go find the table number, then you guys are there and you're chilling and you play a game, and it was super cool. No stakes. You're just having fun. It was awesome. And the pricing for it was superb. It was superb. You got the new event pack. You got the CS pack. Like, I pulled a Nami and a Zoro out of the pack, and I pulled a Shanks out of my event pack. I was like,
that's pretty good.
I just made like $350 for like an hour of having fun. That was awesome. Like, I had such a good time. It was great. The prizes were cool. The Uta sleeves, I got them up there. It's too far to reach. But the new Uta sleeves, super cool. I was like, dude, they crushed it with that event. I hope they bring that back and they do that again. But yeah, that was super fun. But the final and biggest blunder, in my opinion, of the event, and it is of every single Bandai Card Fest event, it is the worst part of the event every single time, and it sucks. And because it's only here in North America, the stream. And it's not because of the casters or anything. It's because nobody wants to watch 5 different games, bro. There's like maybe 3 people in North America that play all 5 of these games and are like, this is the best event ever. But for everyone else, we're like,
just like, I want to focus on one game.
Yeah, they're like, I want to watch Digimon, bro. I want to watch Union Arena, or I want to watch Gundam, or us. We want to watch One Piece. Like, we don't want to watch all these other games that we don't care about. Like, nobody. Like, just make separate streams. It cannot be that hard. If you're spending, God, I mean, that venue had to have cost $150,000. Bandai's just gonna drop $150K. Bro, start charging people for the general entry and pay these casters and get multiple streams going. It cannot be that hard. I promise you, I've worked in making events happen, and I guarantee you they could hire somebody. They could hire multiple people. Multiple people. I know of multiple teams right now that we could get a broadcast team together and be out there with the right pay. It's not even crazy pay. Just like literally the right pay, and put them up and whatnot. If you charged everybody $5 for showing up, you'd have all that stuff paid for, and you'd profit. Like, it's crazy. You just charge $5 for an entry. Like $5 for general entry. Boom. There we go. Multiple streams for everybody. Everybody's happy now. That's just the one thing that I'm like, oh God, man, I really wish, because like every other country, every other championship and finals, they stream the whole event of One
The
Piece.
whole thing, dude. We missed out on so many good like matches and like
Yes.
just random deck. Like
We got
I don't think
like
like
3 or 4
dude,
games.
what a Blue Nami top didn't
Yeah,
get it any shine at all.
I
Like
know.
the more you got top 16, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, Rosie got top 4, you wouldn't even know. Like it's Gregory Luffy got top 3.
Yeah.
He's going to Worlds.
He's going to
And it's
Worlds,
like,
dude.
it was not on stream. Like it's crazy how little content there was for One Piece.
Yeah.
And then to a lesser degree, and that's what matters for us. But and not to a lesser degree. So in the same vein, like you mentioned, there are Digimon players that are like, I don't care about One Piece.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
don't
care
care.
about Gundam. I just want to see how Digimon went. Or with Union Arena, or with Gundam, especially Gundam, because this is like the second or third biggest tournament in the U.S. so far.
Yep.
It's a very new game. I think it honestly might have been like the third big like offline Gundam event in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it had like 2 or 3 round stream, maybe 4.
So
just because it was newer.
I want to interject on that. So I heard 2 things. I heard one, the reason why it wasn't as many for Gundam this year or this time was because last time they did so many Gundam. Last time was like it was like out of the 9 or 10 rounds that they did during like the
it was like
5 or 6 were Gundam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so they realized people were complaining about that, so they brought it back down a little bit. But there's also a thing to know about that as well, is that I was told, now I can't speak to who told me this, but I'll just say this is a credible source that I heard this from, is I was told that in the near future, in a lot of other upcoming events and whatnot as well, we should probably expect to see a lot of Gundam. And the reason why is because for those of you that aren't aware of this, Bandai they do not own the rights of One Piece. So when they sell One Piece card game product, they are probably, if I don't know the exact split, but it's probably something like a 60-40 split if I had to take a guess. They're making like 60% of the profits from the game, and then they're losing 30% or 40% of the profits for the sale of the game because it is not owned by them. But Gundam is 100% owned by them. So every sale that they make is pure profit. It is pure profit. So they want to, as much as possible, promote and sell Gundam because it's going to make them money. It's going to make them the most money. You know, One Piece is their cash cow right now because of the popularity of the IP. But does that mean that it's like maybe making probably the same amount of money as, you know, let's say their second best seller? Because their second best seller, they might be making 100% profit, whereas One Piece they're making 60. You know, and I think that I personally would love to see, you know, everything work out and shine for them, but they need to realize that like it doesn't matter if this isn't your cash cow. This is what could be the entrance to people into Bandai card games, right? So if they want to play other Bandai card games, One Piece might just be a good entrance. So if you print the ever-loving dog water out of this game, you're going to eventually have people that are like, okay, like now this is easy to collect my hands on and stuff like that. I can actually afford to buy another game, right? So let me go try out this Gundam, right? Whereas me, I got 1 TCG money. I can't be affording anything other than One Piece because this game's so damn expensive as it is. So, I mean, personally, I'm of the mindset that, like, dude, if they want to succeed, you do it on both fronts, right? But I heard that there might be a really big push for Gundam from a reliable source because of the fact that it is, you know, a 100% profit for them. Yeah, and I mean, I'm all right with it. Whatever, do your thing. I just personally, my thing is I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't think the stream situation is going to ever change. I think it's just Bandai Card Fest is just going to be forever a miserable experience for people to watch because it's you get to watch 3 games of the game that you actually want to view and they're all at random times. Like it's just, it's not super exciting. The only thing that is exciting other than that is like the announcements and stuff that they make. They'll be like, "Oh, this is new. This is cool. This is happening. This is, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, that's pretty sweet." Another thing, like, going on that note, is that they added, if you remember correctly, they added the Luffy playmat during the event. It was like 5 or 6 p.m., like end of the event. They added the Luffy playmat onto the premium Bandai website, as well as the best selection 6, or is it 5?
Yep. It's 6.
Okay,
we just
6.
got 5 in the mail like this week.
Yeah. So they added all that stuff onto premium Bandai, which it irks me a little bit. It irks me because I'm like, there's so many people that want this stuff, and then you put it up like while people are out at your event having fun and playing, and nobody knows that it's even happening,
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about that is that it's the trade-off is, well, it's actually really good for the viewers at home because they couldn't make it out to the event to enjoy all the fun stuff that we got to. So it's like you get kind of like I ended up finding out about it late, and then I tried to get the playmat and it was gone. And I was like, no.
I got lucky with the playmat.
Oh,
I was at the Venetian food court. I missed it on the first one because I went to the venue and I'm waiting outside because we're about to meet together to go to the Venetian food court. Like, I just got done gambling. I'm going to the Venetian. Like, we're trying to meet up at the Venetian food court. So I took like the Vegas loop or whatever to get to the right outside the venue to then Uber with my friends to the Venetian. Yeah. And so I was able to get my 2 folders. That wasn't too bad. The 2 folder limit is so stupid though. I understand, like, sure, maybe you got to limit it, but like limit it to 4 because you used to be able to get like 16 or 12.
Right,
okay, sure, stop that.
Yep.
But 4, like most of the time you're getting this is like you're trying to get a playset for the most part.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people are cool with like 1, but like a lot of people are like, these are the only cards I ever get a playset of all cards because it's like, okay, I spend $100, $110 after shipping or whatever to get 4 binders.
Yep.
Right? And I'll get my playset, whatever. But that's a whole nother thing. But I missed the mats. We get to the Venetian. 30 minutes after they initially go live, I see some people on the Austin Discord be like, "Oh, they restocked and I got mine." And so I'm like, "Damn." And so it looked like every 30 minutes potentially they were like restocking a little bit. And so I'm like, I guess I'm going to check like every 5 minutes at this point just cuz. And so eventually it gets to like another 30 minutes after that, and I'm going to the restroom in the Venetian.
Yeah.
And I'm there in the restroom, just, sitting away, doing nothing. I'm just like on my phone, like refreshing constantly. And eventually I just see place pre-order.
Oh.
I was like, hold on. And so I try to press it, and it keeps saying like, oh, like, can't do this, can't do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is new because you weren't showing me this before. I kept mashing it, and then eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait 10 seconds and press it. Oh, and then it loaded a little bit more. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to take a risk and refresh and see if it lets me. I refresh, and it lets me to check out, and I got the mat. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I have every other mat. Because at this point, I had already bought the Nami mat. Or at least I got the leader and playmat, but I ended up giving the playmat to a friend.
Yeah. I just want the Luffy card, man. I don't even care about the playmat.
I don't even care about the card. I want the card, and that was the same for the
I got a Luffy
Usopp
collection,
leader
bro.
and the Zoro leader that we're about to get.
Yeah.
I missed both of those. I missed the Usopp leader and the Zoro. I don't care about the mat. I care about the leader.
Yeah.
And so I got lucky with the Usopp. Friend sold me just the Usopp because he just wanted the mat.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't play Usopp, and I just kind of wanted Usopp, especially because at the time Usopp was like still kind of playable.
Yeah.
Now he's completely unplayable.
Right.
But that's a whole other thing. And then for the Zoro one, I missed it, but a friend somehow got 2, and he's being really cool. Hopefully he comes through and doesn't like scam me and like says like, nah, here's a refund. I gotta make my money.
Yeah.
And so once he delivers it to me this week, I won't have to. Maybe I won't give him as much shit going forward.
Yeah.
Because that is a big homie deal because he just gave it to me for MSRP. And so I had that Zoro, and then I had the Nami. So now with this Luffy one, I'm like, well, the only one I'd be missing is Luffy, but I'm not trying to play resale after I already paid resale for the Nami. Thankfully, I got it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is that with the mat specifically, they've sold out every single time.
Yep.
And it started with Usopp, and that was probably the least wanted one.
Yeah.
By far.
At least now.
Because that went up, if I remember correctly, that went up the same time as the Zeus
Oh,
playmat,
yeah.
and also Volume 4,
Right.
I think.
I think you're right.
And so, I don't even, looking back at it now, I don't know how I was able to get 4 of the Zeus playmat because I did at the time.
Hmm.
But I missed on the Usopp playmat. But there was issues with those playmats back then. And then the Zoro playmat, same thing.
Yeah.
And now this Nami playmat and like in person, and now obviously this Luffy playmat. And it's like, y'all gotta up the production on these playmats, especially if you're putting these really cool leader cards in it. If it was just the mat, because they've done that before, where it's just the mat. Okay, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Like, yeah, okay, it's more limited, but like, more people will not be butthurt about not getting an exclusive mat than they will getting an exclusive leader.
Yes.
So I hope that they fixed it. I hope going forward they just change binders to 4
Yeah.
per like account.
My thing is
because,
like I just think it would be so easy for them to do something like if you because I don't know if you remember this, but they did Premium Bandai did something. Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly what the date was, but it was something like last year July that they if your account was made prior to a certain date, like you had something that you had to like check out or do, like you had to like reset your password and whatnot. But now they have like these accounts that were set before a particular date, so you could call these like grandfathered in, right, or whatever. You have all these are like your OG One Piece fans or something. You could like send out emails, you know, like put yourself on like a sign up list or something, and then they go, okay, how many people, like of the emails that are signed up, how many of them have purchased a Premium Bandai from Premium Bandai before, right? And based off of how they or what they have purchased or how much they have purchased, like we can just say, all right, you get the opportunity to buy this before everybody else loses their mind and tries to get it on the website, right? So then you can avoid all that garbage, and they can go, okay, perfect. Actually, we sold out by giving out like these sales to the people that, you know. Like, that's what they should do for some limited items. But if we're just talking about, like, maybe best selection or something, I don't know. I think there's just better ways to do it. I also don't know about, like, how I really don't know a lot about, like, web development as far as, like, traffic is concerned. Like, how do you keep, you know, your servers and everything online? I'm no expert on that. I don't know what the best way to do that is. Obviously, when people get frustrated enough, people just stop going on there. And they're like, okay, I give up. And then once they give up, you know, it opens up the door for everybody else. But I mean, that's not like, I don't want to say like, that's not a great solution. You know, we're talking about doing actual things that would help. But it's a weird one. I would like to see, you know, more easily accessible things for this. And on top of that, I would kind of like to see, like, I would love to see local game stores be able to get some of this stuff. Like, local game stores should have like a, you know, kind of like how they sign up for events ahead of time. But like we know of an event coming, they should be able to sign up to purchase some of this stuff and get allocated. I think that's
how it works in Europe and Australia.
Yeah, because exactly. So
at least for most.
Yeah, so it's like,
I think this one was different, but I think in the past at least.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, just sell them. Like, have some sold to your. But like, again, it's like kind of pure profit to not do the middleman route. But like, have a little bit that goes out to the LGSs. I would be super happy if some of my LGSs got like, dude, if one of my LGSs got the Nami playmat, they'd probably get like 10, and all the members would ask to pre-order it, and they would sell it at MSRP. And because they're the goats, right? There's others that would be like, okay, $500 for this, and I'd be like, damn, bro, damn. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of solution there. I don't know if they ever do the Premium Bandai stuff at the official stores. I don't know. No. Okay.
I think they do.
Okay. But yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But I think we had a long start to talking about like Vegas and everything, and like a lot of surrounding stuff about it. But it's good. I think that was this was like the meat and potatoes of today's episode and discussion. So I mean that's really good because there's obviously some other stuff we want to talk about. We're gonna end with the ban list being like probably the most thing that maybe a lot of people wanted to hear about as well at the end of the episode. But I kind of want to hop into the next topic, which is the Red Bull event, because on the idea of what we were just talking about, like event exclusives or limited exclusives and everything, we had some event exclusives that just came out, which again, very cool, love to see it. A little bit bummed out though, that I don't know why they did it this way, but a lot of the events that they've done similar to how this event kind of works, like where it's like store regional, store treasure cup, stuff like that, have all been lottery. And then this one was just like first come, first serve. And of course, the website's crashing, the app's crashing as everybody's trying to sign up for it. So I had no luck whatsoever in getting into an event, but I was a little bummed out that I didn't do lottery because it's like, because they limited it, I think you could only sign up for 2 events, or maybe it was.
I think you could sign up for as much.
No, I don't think so. I think you could only sign up for like 2 or 3 of the Red Bull events. I swear it limited you. I know.
It might be 3.
Yeah.
Because I think because there's 3 in Texas. I couldn't do any of them. They're all like when I worked, and I was already taken off so much in February and January because of the Broncos game.
Yeah.
Going to Vegas, have a wedding this week, like a bunch of stuff. Took off for EB03 release. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. But there's 3 in Texas, and I think everyone was able to at least try to apply to all of them in Texas. So maybe it was 3. And so that was a whole thing because like I remember everyone just saying like in one of my group chats, they're like, guys, it's just saying error. There's a server error.
Yes.
I can't get in. I can't get in. And just all that, and then like it was first come first serve, not a lottery. I mean, almost every event had like 500 plus people.
Yeah.
And then like it wasn't spread out either. Like the entirety of the Pacific Northwest didn't have a single event.
Yeah, I think that was
like,
yeah.
Like I understand, yes, it's in Milwaukee, so okay, we're gonna give a lot to Wisconsin and Illinois and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like, damn, Washington, Seattle can't get one.
Yeah.
Zulus is a pretty big
huge
store.
Yeah.
No way they can't handle the one. California got like 3. Texas got like 3. Florida got like 3. What do you mean? These are like the huge that.
Virginia got 1, baby. We got 1.
Like I think that's like the biggest gripe people have with these events.
Yeah.
Is that like it was super limited and not even like in a very like varied space. Nothing against the one that's down south in Texas in McAllen because that's where I was raised.
Yeah.
I have family there, but like that one is like a joke. That's one of them. Honestly, it's 5 hours from Austin, 3 hours from San Antonio. Like people are going to drive because it's worth it, because participation selling for $300-$400. Participation for just getting to the main event is going to be worth your trip.
Right.
And then obviously if you top, like you're getting cereal Zoros and country, like it's worth it. But like it's crazy to me that they chose Dallas, San Antonio, go all the way to Kaboom Games, which is like essentially a random store right at the border of Texas and Mexico. When like Houston's right there, Austin's right there. Honestly, if it was a second San Antonio or Dallas store, like it is what it is, right? Like, okay, but it's like in Dallas. That makes sense. And so I'm very curious as to like why certain places were selected.
Yeah.
Because I know that they look at the local, like how often people go to that too and whether the store can like fit that many people. Kaboom can definitely fit 64 people. I'm not trying to say that. But I know for a fact their locals are not bigger than like 32 people on average. If not smaller. Which is not a bad thing. Like if you're getting 32 people every Friday,
that's
good.
It's very good.
But like there's no way that's competing with what Dallas is doing. Like they're big locals at some of these stores that definitely have the room to fit 64 people are like 50-man locals. Or even if they're not 50-man, they're 40-man, the store is huge. It's in Dallas, people are going to go. It's like no issue.
Yeah.
And so it's just stuff like that. North Carolina, California didn't even get one either. All the 3 in California are all like LA or like
it's all like southern.
And so that is the biggest thing with it. But I think overall it's cool. It's a free event. We love seeing sponsors like Red Bull come into it and doing all that. I've seen them do similar with like fighting games. So like I'm not complaining in that regard. Yeah, I think I wish a
I
couple
think
things are different.
we're just curious as to why. Like why
Yeah,
it
like
seems
why?
very specific on the amounts, you know what I mean? Like the number like 150 players, right? Is
And yeah,
is
that's not
very
even a
bizarre.
pretty number.
It's like a
Yeah.
really bizarre number. So that was one thing that like kind of made me go, "Huh?" But again, like you said, this is an inaugural like event, something like this
Hmm.
for something like this, right?
Hopefully, this is not the only time.
I want to see more of these, bro. Shout
Yeah,
out
of
to Red
course.
Bull. Shout out to Bandai for making something like this happen. This is cool. I want more of this. And I
Yes, 100%.
love the idea of this, right? The only thing is that it's crazy, dude. This Luffy, the Luffy that
Dude, it's
you like. There's 150 of these ever. You know what I mean? And
my friend just sold his for like 7 grand.
that's insane. See,
Which
like,
is insane.
oh, dude, you can make some like life-changing money in this game sometimes. Like, you really can. You can just, dude, imagine you just go play in this Red Bull event, you win, you get like 10K for all your
Yeah,
prizing.
he qualified.
Yeah.
He was playing regular Luffy. Didn't expect to do anything.
Yeah.
He was like 5-0. He's like, okay, I guess I make top cut.
Yeah.
He wins twice, and he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to Milwaukee, and I just won like this 7 grand, 10 grand Luffy card.
It's crazy.
That if I wanted to like hold short term, like it's probably worth because there is only 150
Yeah.
in the world. Now that being said, if they do another one, maybe that's the winner card again.
Yeah.
Which if they do another one, I kind of hope that's the case. You know, I think like that level of scarcity is like bad for the game.
Yeah, that's very scarcity. But I mean, like, hey,
like it's very,
again,
but like
I
you
don't
know,
think it's bad for the game. I just think it's maybe like bad if you're like a collector and you're trying to get like.
It's bad for a collector, and then it makes like I think these events are supposed to be fun. Like obviously there's stuff on the line. Even just like they're not paying for your flight, but they're paying for your hotel, and it's going to be a fun event.
It's a competitive. That's a competitive.
Yeah, it's a
event.
competitive event, but like things change, and it's like okay, fly to like this event, but also you're paying for a $10,000 card on the line.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, whoa. Like, what just happened? Like,
Yeah.
Where you're going from like $500 to maybe $1,000 for like flight and hotel, which are not even covering flight, but we're just saying if they change it to that.
Yeah.
To like, okay, you're doing this, plus you're going to this event that has a ton of pricing, plus right now you're playing a best of 3 for like a $10,000 card.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm all down for. I mean, I've done it. Like I've played for serials, right?
Yeah.
It's not 10,000, but like the jump from top 16 to top 8.
Oh, it's huge. It's
close
huge,
to like
bro.
it is close to $7,000 more in pricing.
Yeah.
And with the chance to play a little bit to earn a little bit more, but like. I don't know. I think it's a little different for what they're aiming for with like this Red Bull stuff. Like I think it is supposed to be a competitive stuff, but I think at its core it's supposed to be like a fun thing that they're trying to do. It seems like they're trying to do it more than once.
Yeah. I'd love to see this
So
happen
like I'm just
yearly.
curious to see like how do they fix this because as you mentioned 150 is because there's 75 2 per store, so 150. That's assuming everyone shows up. Pricing starts at 128.
It starts at 128.
It starts at 128.
You gotta win
get a
one
top
game,
16
bro.
GARP, and like you gotta win like
game.
one Swiss match. As long as you're not the person like went like how many rounds would it be at 150? Like 5 rounds before like
I think
a top
it's
cut or
6,
something.
probably.
Six or 5 rounds, right? Like you just gotta not go 06.
Yeah.
So like that's a really weird number in that regard. And so like who knows? Maybe when they do it the next time, it's like okay, let's aim as everyone shows up 256.
256.
That's perfect number, you know. And going forward, like if every wave was like okay 256, that's fine. That means you add close to what like at least 70 more stores, something like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe even 70. Like that's a lot more stores. It's still limited, but like it's better, and you can, you know.
Yeah, it'd be like 50 more stores, but like,
yeah,
who's counting?
Yeah, you know, math. I'm bad at math. That's why I suck. Like it's cool. I think initially when it was announced, everyone thought that the entire Dawn deck was double Dawn.
Yeah.
In hindsight, thank God it's not.
Yeah, that would have been insane, dude.
So I think initially I did want it to be that way. And then you like read and it's like okay, it's not that way. Because if it was that way, I think like Jinbei, Rayleigh, all these super aggro decks are
broken.
Like, yeah. But like, you're in your head, you're just like, oh yeah, these will be good. And then now that I'm seeing all these people talk about how the event has gone with that one single Dawn, which you would think it doesn't change as much, but it's probably for the best because decks like Jinbei or Rayleigh or straight up Zoro, like, dude, oppressively insanely broken.
Oh yeah.
It would be everyone would be on a crazy aggro deck and you're essentially just coin flipping. Did I draw like more rushers or whatever?
Yeah.
And so thank God it's not the entire deck, even though that would be like somewhat interesting. But I feel like that's so far off the scale after like hearing everyone talk about like, yeah, well Rosie will attach a Dawn, swing 7, use leader ability to deramp that one, play the card for cheap. It ramps inactive. Now I have my double Dawn back and better math. I'm like, yeah, that adds up, but it's
Yeah.
nothing like crazy. But if it was the entire Dawn deck, nah,
Oh,
like
bro.
that'd be like I mentioned. I think eventually everything would just be like, yeah, you're just like flipping coins. Like I hope I get my curve, and I like, yeah, it's just too crazy. But it's cool. I got a couple friends that qualified for it. I think generally speaking, anyone that's participated in it has said good things, and so I hope to see it happen again, whether it's with Red Bull or like maybe a different partner for like a different thing,
Hmm. Yeah.
which I think we'll get. I mean, it's not the first time we've
Oh
gotten
yeah.
it. I mean,
Oh
Dodgers
yeah.
Luffy to a lesser degree is like similar.
Yep.
The college basketball stuff that we're getting now with that Luffy, that's similar. And so I think that'll go, and that's just been fun. I think competitively, it's like really just an extension of what we already seeing. I don't think anything drastically changes. So in that regard, it's like nice. It's like okay, you test for it a tiny bit, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just a cool, fun format. But I think like right soon they're about to be done, and that's when we get into Mesquite's coming up. Mesquite's actually like 4 weeks away, 3 weeks away, which is the first tournament of
Of the
the
EB03 format.
season,
Hmm.
yeah, of EB03 and for the season this year. And so that's really exciting to see. But that all hinges on because that I guess no. Mesquite's before Banlist or rotation. So we get like one or two EBO3 format events.
Mm.
And then April comes, and that's where I think to close out everything is where we talk about how the game changes with this Banlist like revision that they announced,
Right.
as well as rotation. Because I think at least talking to it with friends, I actually think a lot of people don't think that much should be banned, at least in our format. I think what you see in Japan right now with like Borsalino, like yellow
Well,
stuff,
yeah.
that might be something that okay, but we'll see.
So hear me
But I
out.
think
Before
it's weird.
before you continue, just hear me out. The ban list that will be happening in March won't. It's not going to be like an immediate in March. It's going to be probably mid-April that it'll take place, which is in line with rotation and in line with us getting OP15 EBO4
Correct.
second half. So it's realistically it's going to be the same as what their meta's like. I think we're going to be looking at kind of something that we saw in OPO2 where I personally am of the belief that we're going to be seeing cards gone that aren't even in our game yet. And
I hope so.
yeah. But hold on,
'Cause-
before we get into that, before we get into thoughts and ideas and stuff like that, we do have this EBO3 format that we're in right now with Mesquite right around the corner and everything. It's been really interesting kind of seeing where people are trying to go with some of the decks, especially for some of the heroine battles that are happening.
Oh yeah, because that's a thing too.
The heroines battles or heroines cup, or I don't even remember what it's called, but it's that thing that's going on that you can only play like the female antagonist or protagonist, excuse me, which I think is awesome. I think that's a really cool way to get people to play different decks. Because ironically, it was so funny. I never even thought about it that way. I don't think I played a single female leader in this game, like competitively, if you will. Like I played a couple like random. I played like green yellow Yamato or something. I played like I think I played like red purple sugar a tiny bit, and I think that might be it, bro. But like all the characters I wanted to play were like Luffy. It was like mostly Luffy and maybe like Zoro and Smoker when I first started, and like Dofi. But it was pretty cool to see that, and EBO3 has happened. I was laughing in the face of every single person that was purchasing these boxes for like $900, $800 a box. And then now to see them drop so low. Well, I say low and they're still like 3 times more expensive than they should be. But these boxes are not good. Like, they're not good, bro. Like, if you get the SP box, yeah, sure, you made your money.
Dude,
right?
if you're not pulling
But
SP, there is no value.
There's no value.
Which is good.
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing necessarily.
But it means like
If
the
you
box
play.
is way overpriced. It's
Yeah,
way like these
100%.
boxes shouldn't be more than like $180. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a
And you're paying
most
like
I
300, 350, and you're
yeah.
like, oh, I got one of the 2 double hit boxes in a case.
Yeah.
Secret Uta and Altar, I don't even know, like
Lin.
Altar Hibari.
You're like,
Like, oh,
oh,
oh my god, money back. Like,
$20.
dude, if it really, because like even Nami AA is already going down, Robin AA is already under 100.
Yeah.
I think those are the only 2 non SPs that were over like $60.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like, again, that's not necessarily bad.
It's bad.
If the sealed price is like, matched, like, okay, yeah, there's not that much like value unless it's an SP, so sealed's gonna be a little cheaper. But like everyone's fawning for it.
Yeah.
So like you get this FOMO, it's like, yeah, I want to open. And then it's like, oh, my box sucked, or I can't find any because everyone's like,
Way
going everywhere,
overpaying,
and
yeah.
scalpers are going everywhere, and
Yeah.
or people are paying too much for it. And it's just like, yeah, like I opened 3 boxes and like 30 loose packs. I wish I didn't. Like, my hits sucked. My best hit was like a Boa Gold Dawn. After that, the next hit was like, dude, I don't even know. Like, it must have been.
VV leader or something.
It must. Like, the VV lead, yeah, for now, because she's still like at 28, 25
Oh my
for
God.
now. Like, it must have been because like it was like lit, like it was stuff I needed, but like the Rage Ult, I already overpaid for it. I bought one for 75, like pre-release
Oof.
at Vegas because I was like, oh, maybe there's a world that EB's hyped so bad, like, and Sanji's gonna be good. I'll buy one for 75. Regret that.
Yeah.
I think I bought one like Friday or Saturday when it was at 48. I was like, okay, 40, that's fine. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a $50 to $40 altar. It's like $22 right now.
Yeah.
Linden's already like 15. Like Kujaku's like at 30 still for a little bit, but she'll be
Yeah.
down. Hibari's still like 20, but she'll be down.
All of them are, dude.
So
This whole set is just
it's just so
super
crazy.
bad, bro. It's super like if you look at any of the cards in that set and anything other than yellow, and you're thinking you're like, oh man, this is all so good. No, it is not, bro. It's maybe played in like one deck.
That's the biggest thing. That these are one deck wonders, and we've seen consistently one deck wonder cards, even if they are absurdly powerful.
They're just
never expensive.
Yeah. Nope.
They're never expensive. Very, very few like exceptions. Typically waifu tax.
Yeah.
Which is like the entire set. So when the entire set is waifus, it kind of loses that allure a little bit too.
Yeah.
And again, that's not a bad thing if you're like someone that wants to pimp out your Kobe deck, or you want to, make some stuff alt-arted, or even just like buy a couple things for collection. But when it's like, man, this sealed product is so expensive and I can't find anything like to rip a little bit, that kind of sucks. But like if you're a responsible adult, you're actually like, wait, this is lit. Like everything sans yellow stuff is pretty damn cheap, even alt-art version. So like, give and take.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that like if you're a yellow player, you got screwed. Like, because you want to get these cards and they're so expensive. God bless. Good luck. I'm just happy because I do not like yellow. I don't want to play yellow, and I have no interest in probably ever playing yellow. So for me, I'm like, this is fantastic. I just love watching people lose that have been spending so much money on these boxes when they're not worth even like a third of what they've been paying. But the shame of it is that I do feel bad for like the average player that just wants to get their hands on product. And I'm like, look, I get that, but like, dude, just buy singles. Just buy singles. Like, it's fun to rip packs. It's fun to rip boxes and stuff. It's not worth it. Just buy some singles, dude. Call it a day. And, with that in mind, a lot of the support that EB03 is getting, but also EB04 and OP15 in particular, is what is leading us to this ban list that's coming out. And we had just kind of like, gave a little sneak peek as to what we think it might be on it. But like, I don't know. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are first, because I know for sure where I think one card is like, I would be shocked if it's not on there. I would be absolutely shocked. But I personally think that there are a few ways that they could go with this, but I'd love to hear what your thoughts are first on this ban list.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to remember is when they announced this in Japan finals, they said two things. It goes into effect April 1st, which is the same time rotation goes into effect, which is basically when we get 15 immediately, because main release of 15 is
like
April
3rd.
3rd.
Yeah, 3rd.
Yeah, so like this is like on a Wednesday, it technically goes into effect, but pre-release will have started like March 28th or something.
Sure.
Something like that. So like technically we'll have 15 in EB04 and it'll hit with rotation. I think the biggest thing is that the other thing is that they said revision. Doesn't necessarily mean they're adding stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean they're putting stuff on or taking stuff off. It can mean anything. I just think it's technically new wording they've used.
Oh, fair. That's fair.
Like, what does that wording mean? It could mean that they're just unbanning Jinbei, and they're like, okay, we're unbanning Jinbei for current, but now that modern exists, or like, I don't even know.
It's called, I think it's standard and extended, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Now that extended exists, it's going to be banned and extended, but allowed.
No, actually, I don't think it's extended. I think it's extra regulation or something like that.
Yeah, extra regulation. Like, I could see them being like, hey, Jinbei's probably fine in standard because Dofi's gone, but because Dofi's an extra, he's still banned in extra. Stuff like that I could see them doing, because we already know that they're taking off like a lot of the banned black cards once rotation comes and all that.
Yeah, Ice Age and Great Eruption.
Yeah, and all that that would rotate anyway. They're letting sit in grand, extra grand or whatever. So like that's all possible. I think honestly, overall, I think the game is like in a decent spot. I think Emu and Ace still have problems, generally speaking. Like, I think 10 cost Elders for 4 Dawn is still probably
pretty
way
silly.
Too much.
Yeah.
I think Ace being able to essentially ramp 2 Dawn on 8 Dawn with I Am Whitebeard can be a lot, even though that strategy does have a lot more ways to interact with it than what Emu does.
Yeah.
But then also, the other big problem that we're seeing is blue-yellow. Mainly Boa, but like Nami to a smaller degree because she's like the counter to Boa. Is like all these life rip effects plus pudding. And then specifically in Boa, and even in Nami too, because Nami's like been running the unblockable Ace event too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all these life rip effects that essentially mean as long as we don't swing, you can't play around pudding unblockable. And it's just like,
yeah,
okay,
it's silly.
Guess. On top of having Borsalino, which is like the best defensive card ever printed, arguably better than Giant. Honestly, probably is in practice because of the interaction with Rayquaza, the 1-drop event. That if you trigger, you can play a Borsalino from trash, which now heals you. And so if you're at 2 life, you're now at 3, plus you have a body. And so all that,
a body that's a blocker.
A body that's a blocker.
And a 6K
counter.
And it has 1K counter.
And you don't lose anything for healing. Like,
bro,
you heal for free, you don't have to touch a card.
What were they thinking?
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. So I think those are like the 3 biggest pain points with design right now, even though, at least for us, Ace and Emo are the biggest ones. I think especially when Borsalino comes. And it's like, we're already seeing the pain point with like Boa and putting Femur even pre-Borsalino.
Yeah.
And now it's like, but what if this deck also had super sack luck triggers that like are just insane defense that you can't get past? And even if it's not a sack trigger because they like set it up with a Hiyori or like the Grandma or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that like healthy for the game? Probably not. So for me,
and you can't swing into them either.
And you can't swing into them, and so it's just so bad.
It's so bad.
So for me, I don't know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah,
I think with 14, we saw that Ace and Emu have a couple more decks that, even though on paper it doesn't seem like they're cheating the game as crazily as Emu and Ace were in 13. They just happen to like do good into those decks. Like Mihawk, it does good into both. Boa does good into both, but I mean she's a problem child because of the pudding interaction. A couple other decks like do decent into those decks, but I think Emu specifically like has a bigger stranglehold on like how they have to design stuff for the future. Ace to a lesser degree because I think generally speaking like being a wall is good, but they're finding more ways to get around the wall. So I think there's a world that they don't have to hit Ion Whitebeard. That being said, if they're hitting all 3, my expectation, which I think at this point I probably would want, I think it's weird because of rotation though, because Red Rock being gone makes Ace a significantly weaker deck.
Way weaker.
It
Yep.
probably kills Sanji on the spot temporarily, at
Probably.
least, because not
We
having
were
Red
talking
Rock on a
about that the
stick,
other day, actually.
like yeah, like not having Red Rock on a stick like really hurts, especially because we saw in 15 they printed a lot of one drop generic removal protectors, but those only protect 7k base power or less.
Mm.
So like Big Bomb still exists, and now Red Rock gone. Like Blue is nothing without Red Rock and Pudding, and that was even in the Dofi era. Like I think people overestimate how good Blue is. A lot of Blue's cards are actually kind of bad. Most of them are like just okay. 10 cost Blocker Beard is not an auto include if it was in any other color. It's a good card, but it's not an auto include. Maybe I'll give you Marco, but even then, Marco's not an auto include in blue decks right now. He's
Yeah.
close to it. He's close to it. I'm not saying he's
I,
not a good card.
yeah, I think we end up seeing like something that combos well with playing out like a 4 cost like Marco or something, and then
Yeah,
that card becomes like an auto include for every blue
exactly.
deck.
And
It's
so
gonna be
like,
something like that.
so those are like two of the best blue cards that aren't Red Rock and Pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we said they were running every blue deck, yeah, a blocker that draws two is good, but like it's a 4 drop. There's so many ways to interact with 4 drop
Yep.
blockers.
Yep.
Like it's fine. 10 drop beard a little bit harder to interact with, but like if you're already behind, then you're just playing this one thing. The nice thing is that Red Rock can't blow up your one thing because
Yeah.
that's something Sanji does to like Nami. They play 7 cost Robin, we Red Rock. They're like, damn, I have no board. I hope this 10 cost Newgate sticks. No, no, no. Reiju, Red Rock. And now you're like, okay. So, like, it goes both ways.
Mm.
But, like, other decks have ways to get rid of the 10 drop. Law Beppo, like, Vivi, leader effect -2, play a 10 cost Shank. Stuff like that
Yeah.
still exists. So, like, that's where I'm like, oh, I don't know, because if you take off Red Rock and Iron Whitebeard, now the deck is probably significantly weaker. I don't think Ace is dead without Red Rock, but it is weaker. I think stuff like Sanji is dead. So I'm hesitant to hit Ace because of rotation. But that's the thing too. This revision could also be like, hey, we're extending Red Rock, or we're extending this card, or whatever. Which I think Red Rock kind of needs to come back. I think a lot of people, it's very strong, but I also think like, I don't know. The game kind of needs something like a Red Rock.
Yeah.
It being tied to Blue, while Blue also has Pudding, and then also like 3 unblockable ways.
Yeah.
Whether it's Hina, Femur, the Ace event.
I think
hard.
I think maybe that Red Rock, in hindsight, but it's so hard to know this. You know, when did Red Rock come into the game? OPO2?
OP4.
Oh, OPO4. Okay, OPO4.
Yep.
So it's hard to know this like that early in the game, but maybe shouldn't have been a Straw Hat card.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't a Straw Hat card, I think that it probably just like balances the card like off rip right there.
Yeah, because it's not a searchable.
Right, and usable in like a lot of decks. Like there's just a lot of decks that are just like, you know, being able to have that kind of searchability or reliability or even playability through being a particular archetype is like very relevant. So I don't know. That's hindsight. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, like it's hard, and that's the biggest thing about like the Ace hits is like I think low key Red Rock being rotated is probably a big enough hit to Ace.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because now they're at least like they're still going tall, but when they can't just auto remove your big body like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now we're in a war of attrition with big bodies, and sure, his are defensive because they're blockers.
Do you know what it becomes though?
I think there's more ways.
So do you know what Ace becomes though? I think is Ace.
It might be a rush deck.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. I think it would still be the same, but I think that it would probably pivot to like, you know how most decks are running like 3 Red Rocks right now of the of Ace. So what it would be is now we're running we're not running like the searchable 2Ks anymore, like the Utas. I mean, you probably still run a few Utas, but we're running like 4 of the Ace Sabo Luffy 1-cost power reduction. We're running probably 3 to maybe 2 to maybe 3 of the oh, actually no, that card's getting rotated too. Oh my god. Now that I think about it.
Round table?
Round table. Yeah, round table is OPO1. Yeah, yeah. Oh, shoot. Never mind. I was going to say
and that's
reduction.
Like a small buff to Mihawk. And so, like, that's how...
Yeah.
That's why this ban list is very interesting. Because, like, how do you I don't think even with roundtable going, I don't think Mihawk needs to get touched. To
Yeah.
be fair.
Oh, you know
But
what? Divine
like
Departure. One cost Divine
yeah,
Departure. That removes
Divine
like
Departure
an
can help.
8K or
An
something.
8K,
So you
yeah,
start,
for
yeah,
stakes.
you
So you
combo
can
that
start
with like the
comboing
Ace Saba
that.
Luffy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like so
There's
that's the
ways.
biggest thing about this ban list is that a lot of the things that well, I guess the main one is Ace losing Red Rock is like the main thing.
Mm.
Because like obviously there was no world where like Roundtable was getting banned, obviously.
Yeah, no.
But Roundtable existing did make like those red decks a little bit better into Mihawks specifically, or even into Ace to a certain degree, because you're like
Yep.
make that to new gate of 2K. But all that to say, assuming they still like, nah, we're gonna hit this regardless of rotations or anything. I would want them to hit all three and just see how the meta like winds up after that. And so it would probably be I Am Whitebeard event. For Emu, that's hard. I think if you were just gonna be like, okay, you have to pick a card, it's probably pair ban it with Ground Death for now. I think a better
Yeah.
option, especially because it's a common stage, ban the stage and make a promo stage that just makes
Yeah.
it significantly more balanced.
Yeah, it wouldn't come out for a while, but I could respect that. I
Yeah,
think
like that, something like that.
the stage having an errata would be super simple. Just like
Yeah, which is easy. It's a common. There's no alt art of it either, so you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, hey, this is banned in a month. You're gonna get this promo.
I think it should have been instead of rest
more-
3, it should have just been like rest 5 and then you get to play something cuz like I know that sounds like it sounds too costly, but at the same time like it really isn't. It really just isn't.
Yeah,
You know, like
I think that's
I
the
don't
only
know.
nice thing about the stage is that it's a common. So all the like, oh, just errata it. Well, it's not gonna get errata, but it's just you're gonna get a new promo card. It's gonna be dirt cheap because you only need one anyway. Like I think that's a route. But if it had to be like a card right now, my best bet is that they just say, okay, ground def pair ban and go from
Yeah.
there. And then for blue, I think it should be pudding. I think pudding
Oh,
has stayed
yeah,
way
pudding.
too long. I think it's got to go. I would even concede, okay, I guess make it a pair ban with the blue and yellow decks
Yeah.
that like can life rip you and make it to like, okay, I'm not swinging at you so you can't counter, but I'm also making you take cards to hand. Okay, at least they don't have access to pudding. But I think in general, pudding just has to go.
Do you
Yes,
know
hand
what
rip needs to exist, but like pudding gotta go.
No, you're right. You're right. Hand destruction is a thing, and we need it. But do you know what pudding should have been? Do you know like how it should have been when it was first printed?
I think you told me this before, where it's it should be your opponent bot decks like until they have 5 in hand, something like that.
No. Like so, this is the best way to do it. Is let's say you have specifically 8 cards in hand, and I play pudding. You put those 8 cards back into the deck. You shuffle the deck, and then you draw to 8. So you replace it with exactly the number that you already had in hand, right? It randomizes your hand, but you still don't get punished for having resources, you know? Like for having card draw and stuff. A full 5 card reset is ridiculous, bro.
Ridiculous.
Like ridiculous.
Dude, we were talking about it in the Discord like yesterday. It kind of blew my mind how few people realize, even if you have 5 cards, how
It's
stupid
ridiculous.
a 5-card redraw
Yeah.
can just win you the game on the spot.
Yep.
They could be a 4-on, not have a better play. You already searched twice. You're at 5 cards, sometimes even 4 cards, because if they know you have perfect curve, they're like, I don't got a better play. Roll the dice.
Pudding.
Did you draw your curve? No. Oh, I won. Like it was blowing my mind. Either how many people didn't realize like how often pudding wins, even when it's a 4, 5, 6 card hand, or that were downplaying how strong and why pudding is starting to be seen as like an issue, especially is in Japan finals. I think we saw like 3 times putting on like 5 or 6 because they had nothing better to do. Just won them the game on the spot.
Yeah.
Because the opponent just didn't draw anything.
Yeah.
So I think pudding gotta go. I can live with like a pair ban. I can live with maybe okay pudding stays but no unblockable. So they're like okay Femur's gone from Boa or something like that. But then at that point you have to ban Ace event or at least pair ban Ace event from Nami and Boa or whatever. Like I man, get pudding out of here, dude. Like we need hand rip. I get it, and everyone's like, oh, but when green has 30 cards in hand versus you, I'm like, I can outmaneuver that. If I'm like, yes, it's hard and it's gonna be long, but like so many of these decks can play the long game.
Yeah.
We will starve you. It doesn't matter. We will kill your one-drop searchers, even if one of them searched twice. You're gonna be at 5 life. Eventually, your board will die.
Yeah.
Like Dofi can do that. Like Enel at its peak can do that. Like, yeah, it's annoying. It's more grindy, but green having 10 cards in hand is not. I'd rather live with that than losing 30% of my games to blue decks because pudding just lost me the game.
Pudding's a card, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you played pudding. I didn't draw my shit. I lost. Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm of the same boat. I think that personally, Ace is going to take enough of a hit with Red Rock, so I'm personally not touching Ace. I don't think 8 cost is that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things when it's. I don't know, but it's funny that the deck is actually getting a buff too in AOP 15 because of the Zoro. That Zoro card is
that Zoro's
so
crazy.
good, bro. So good.
Amazing card.
That card is crazy good. But yeah, I don't think I don't know. 8 cost is okay, but I think with the power creep of the game, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Personally, that's just my opinion. Wait, what set is that? That's not a block 1, is it? Right? I'm pretty sure it's block 2. I'm pretty sure it's
Which
OP06, the 8 cost event.
No, that one's block 3.
Block 3?
Because it was from the starter deck, the Ace and Whitebeard blue starter
Oh,
deck.
you're right. It's from the starter deck. Oh, what am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of the Ice Oni thing. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. So yeah, I personally wouldn't touch that. Emu's just I mean, obviously, people have found ways to beat Emu now, with the power creep of the game. But at the same time, I do think it's just a bit of a problem for, pretty much any leader in deck block 2 or, earlier. Block 2 or, maybe block 3 or earlier, just allowing to be able to play the game. They just can't. Emu's just better. So, I think the stage maybe should have been eroded. I like the idea of the pair ban, so I think I can agree with that. Pair ban on ground death. Thank you. Or even potentially, I thought this was really funny, was ban never existed, right? If you ban never existed, their consistency just drops. But somebody was like, but the mirror would be so bad. And I'm like, yeah, suck it up. Who cares? Every mirror ever is awful, bro. But it would be crazy. You guys would have insane mirrors. So I just thought that would be pretty funny if they got rid of that. Just to spite all Emu players. And then what was the other thing? Obviously Borsalino. I think Borsalino is such a ridiculously dumb card. It makes no sense to me why they print overstated cards like that to not only heal for free, but then you get this second heal realistically because it's a blocker, so you're basically gaining 2 life for the play of 1. A lot of times you can just play the card for free with stuff like Quasar, other triggers that are play out 5 cost characters. Yellow's triggers not only have it all, but their characters are just insanely valuable and good. It's they get life burn, they get this. And it's so funny because I had somebody say this the other day. They were like, well, Yellow deserves it because Yellow hasn't been good. And I'm like, look, bear with me. You're right. Yellow hasn't been good. It's not the only Yellow leaders that have really done well were early stages of Enel and Black Yellow Luffy. But Black Yellow Luffy is the fakest Yellow Luffy or Yellow deck ever. It's that was a skill deck, And I just think for me personally, I'm look, I want to see Yellow have a leader that's good and successful and whatnot, but we also need to not just make generic cards like this that are like Kuma is ridiculous, right? We can heal.
Yeah.
The only thing that's sort of a caveat about Kuma is the fact that you have to trash one from hand. Yeah. And I'm shocked that they even put that. I'm surprised they didn't just say draw a card, heal a card. It's ridiculous. Yellow just gets everything for free, more or less. Whereas the other colors kind of have to struggle to do things. And but that's why I make this point, is because yes, Yellow wasn't good, but it's getting to the point where how can it never be bad? Right? Because you're just going to have so many of these generic Yellow cards. Have you seen the 10 cost secret Luffy that's being printed for OP50? The card's insane. Card's insane. You know, you get a 12k blocker that costs 9 Dawn, sort of, because if you're at 1 life, and it makes your leader plus 2k for a whole turn. I mean, that's wild. That's wildly good, right? And it's a Straw Hat card, easily searchable. It's a it's just a big boss monster. It's it's undeniable that yellow's getting to a point in the very near future where we're just going to be looking at this like, are you joking? Like, how do we deal with that? How do I beat this leader that's already got 5 life, but since they're yellow, they're actually playing with 10 life, and I'm a 3 life or a 4 life leader. It's just so miserable. Like, I was playing VV the other day, and like I think you can beat blue yellow Nami with VV. It's not like impossible or anything, but man, that matchup like just kind of sucks. If they get first, yeah. And then they just drop they drop a hit on you, and you're like, okay, well, I can counter, but like if I counter, it still sucks the next turn. So like you just take, and then they go next turn, okay, drop 5 cost Nami. 5 cost Nami forces a card into your hand, so now you're at 2 life, and I get to, let's just say they have the 2 cost girl on board, right? Now they're swinging like 7 because they get like a Dawn from something, and then they get like the girl gives them another Dawn, and it's like, oh, let me just swing 7 at you casually whilst also forcing you to take like 2 life prior. Oh yeah, man,
it's just so silly.
It's so silly, and it's like we're getting to this point where these yellow cards are they're too generic, they're too good, and the shame of it is that it's not just yellow. It's you start pairing these with other colors, and then it's like, look what we have. We just have silliness. We just have deck. We have life heal. We have life burn and stuff that shouldn't be this prevalent. You know, it shouldn't be that a 6 life leader feels like a 12 life leader, but it does. It shouldn't feel like a 4 life boa feels like an 8 life boa, but it does, because they just hit you with, okay, now I'm going to go 6 cost on curve, heal a life. I'm then going to go 9 cost on curve, heal a life, destroy one of your life. Another 9 cost, heal, destroy. Oh, you got me down to 1? Uh-oh. Looks
Borsalino.
Yeah. Oh, no, you got me down to 0. Borsalino, double blocker, 2 life. You now have to get through 4 swings just to get through that, right? And then a 5th one has to connect. And I have like 7 cards in hand because I've been able to trigger out bodies and keep drawing.
And draw cards.
Like, come on,
bro. And there's a world that have a defense trigger. Like, oh, block with the first one. Oh, my first life is Quasar. Replay it. Heal back.
Yeah,
it's back on board. Like,
it's so silly. I'm like, what the actual hell? Like, what was the idea, dude? It makes no sense. So, I don't know. I'm of the mindset that there's no way that Borsalino stays. I think it's going to be gone before.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be gone before we even get to play with it. And if it isn't, I don't know how much faith I'm going to be keeping in this game, because I'm very. It just seems like the meta they're playing is miserable. Over 60% is just decks that are sacking triggers out of life in their finals. You know, and sure, maybe it didn't win the event. Sure. But is the fact that, you know, that's basically the play rate that we'll be seeing over here as well, because, you know, people want to win, and they're gonna play the decks that are just, you know, got the broken cards in it right now, and the consistency of triggers and reliability of top decking and everything. Like, it's when you start to combine triggers and top decks, you're like, they're kind of one and the same. So you end up kind of working like, oh, I don't actually have to get that lucky anymore. It just kind of, if everything is just inevitable, it's just going to hit. So I don't know. Not a fan. I hope that ends up being some sort of resolution. I would like to see that personally. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, that's kind of it for me. I'm interested to find out what it is, but we'll find out in about 3 weeks, and we're definitely going to keep you posted. We'll have another episode coming out after that happens. Yeah, it was great chatting with you as always, man. For those of you that haven't already, this is my man Luis, aka DragoATX. Be sure to follow him on the social medias and YouTube. He posts some really good gameplay of a lot of decks that a lot of people won't post gameplay of because they just don't really know, what's going on with that deck or not. And he's been doing really well with Red Blue Vivi recently. I saw you make a post about 6-0 with it currently, and still refining the list a little bit. So
yeah, I've been able to. There's a couple locals that I've been able to go to, that I just been able to test, and like there's a local player named Brookie who's helping with the list a lot. To be fair, the Jinbei tech is like his tech. Don't want to take credit for that.
Yeah.
But like Vivi's been really fun, and then I just post like a lot of the stuff I post is like the decks I want to have fun with, even though they may not be like the deck that I would take to a tournament, like a serious tournament. Like I love Mihawk, but Mihawk also doesn't get that many views. So I'm like, oh, I can play fun Sanji or fun Rosie or fun Vivi and get more views. Cool. I'll go to a tournament early. I'll be like, hey, let's like record some. I just need to like record some before I leave. Let's play a couple matches, tournament, and whatever. And so that's why a lot of the times you'll just see like all these decks that one I have a lot of fun with, and two they are good. But it's nice that there's not that much VODs of them, at least yet. And I just try to like, I don't know, I just love playing this game. Okay. And so that's why I go early, try to record stuff before locals start, and just go crazy.
Love it, man. Well, I'm excited to see how this all shapes out. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, you never know. You never know. Yeah. I think we've had metas before that have been, a total drag. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But we do appreciate you guys listening and watching as always. Again, our social medias are over here on the side. If you want to check us out, be sure to follow us and stay posted. Other than that, we'll definitely catch you in the next episode. Thank you again for any of our listeners on YouTube and or Spotify. And be sure to leave some comments down below. We always like to try and get back. Spotify is actually really weird for me to try and get back to the comments, but I do see you guys. I've been able to read them. Just like it's a lot weirder than I thought it would be to try and respond to stuff. It's like really hard going through like the whole Spotify podcaster portion of it, but I will try and do better about that. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.